the Optimist Creed is what we believe. It's what we try to practice as a club. And of course, we believe that we can achieve that mission statement by having that optimistic view when we interact with children. World we live in today, there are lots of things distracting kids from the right paths. So anything we can do to help keep them bringing out the best in them and keep them on the right path, and just being optimistic and showing that there is hope to a lot of children, that may be just what they need to put them down the right road.
Each day at Wesley Meadows is a new opportunity to serve older adults and reimagine retirement living. It is the heart of their mission that inspires their team to provide the kind of fun atmosphere and care residents would want for themselves. Experience the warm spirit and faith-based difference of Wesley Meadows. Call 662-429-2070 and schedule your visit today. Hello and welcome to the Real Hernando, presented to you by Wesley Meadows Retirement Community and SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. This podcast spotlights Hernando's organizations and community leaders by sharing their stories and what led them to serve the community. The Real Hernando is currently seeking new businesses to sponsor with, which will support the growth of this platform, and in doing so, will create a brighter spotlight for the Hernando community as a whole. If you're interested in learning more, click this How to Sponsor link in the description. Not agreeing to anything, just allowing me to get some information to follow up with you. And you can follow us on therealhernando.com. There you'll find all our channels and social media platforms. I'm your host, Derek, and today we are spotlighting the Optimist Club of Hernando. Their mission statement is, by providing hope and positive vision, optimists bring out the best in kids. The Optimist Club is responsible for the widely popular A-Fair Arts and Crafts Festival that you find at the Hernando Town Square every May. For more information, please visit hernandooptimist.org. My guest today is one of the board members. His name is Brad Cook. Brad, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes, taking time on a Saturday. You know, I'm giving you a great excuse to not mow your lawn. We're all good.
Thank you for that.
So we're here to learn more about the Optimist Club and what it offers and maybe some backstory on it, but we're also here to learn more about you. And when I reached out to the club, you know, without a name to the email, I forget the lady I spoke with, but she sent you. Did you draw straws?
I am the official spokesperson of the Optimist Club of Hernando, I guess. Yeah, when it comes to speaking engagements, they usually send me.
Well, with that voice, I understand that. You should get in podcasting. You know, you have a broadcaster voice for sure.
Yes, I get told that often on Zoom calls. Yeah.
So, you know, one of the first things that I talk about or ask real quick is their role. So we just discovered you're a board member, you're the spokesperson, but are there any other layers to your role as a board member for the Optimist Club?
I've been a member for 18 years, board member for much of that time. We sponsor the local Cub Scout and Boy Scout group, and I am the club liaison for the Scouts. So that's an extra layer of responsibility that I've had for a number of years now.
Thank you for that. Good, you know, that's awesome, putting that extra effort in. You know, when you join a board, you're not there to just sit and listen and vote, you know?
Right. Yeah, the Optimist Club, we are small but mighty, and we all have to jump in and wear many different hats.
How many board members do you have?
We have 8 to 10 board members right now. I don't know an exact count at the moment.
Yeah, but this is decent size. It's pretty good. Good deal.
Some elected positions, of course, president, vice president, so forth, and then board members as well.
Did you have a treasurer and a secretary?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you have committees? Like I know on the chamber board, we have promotion committee, organization committee. It's like a task force.
Right. We have committee chairs,
Yeah, same
and,
here.
and then where we can recruit additional members. So, for instance, A-Fair, which is our single fundraiser of the year. So it's a very important event for us. There is always a committee chair, but then there's a sponsor chair, race or sponsor committee member, a race committee member, music. So all of the different things that are going on A-Fair Saturday, we have a different member handling that.
I was going to say, because it probably maxes out the standard board. I mean, there's so much going on there,
Absolutely.
so you bring in some people. Well, that's good to know. I definitely want to circle back to the A-Fair. But thank you for your service, sir, and serving the community. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So if we can now, let's expand on that vision and mission of the Optimist Club and the history behind it and what it also serves.
All right. The Optimist Club of Hernando is affiliated with the Optimist International, which is an international organization. So local clubs are affiliated with Optimist International. The mission of Optimist International is bringing out the best in kids. What the individual clubs do at a local level is determine what the needs of the children in that particular area are.
It's different everywhere.
Right, absolutely. So there are programs that are driven by Optimist International, and we participate in those locally. And then there are other programs that are specific to Hernando and DeSoto County that the club has started over its history since 1986.
So you branch over the whole county and region. Yeah.
We do. We cover. There are a couple of clubs, South Haven Olive Branch also. So Hernando, but we do cover as we've grown. We cover schools outside of just Hernando. So we cover Lewisburg and Lake Cormorant and some DeSoto Central kids fall in Hernando as well. So we
You break down to Tate County at all?
not to Tate County. No,
Yeah.
no, we do not.
So I don't expect you to know this number, but with this also being a national did you say international?
International,
So it's global.
yes.
So this is a big organization.
big
So I would say
organization.
with the clubs, like you said, there must be, 1,000?
There are thousands of clubs, of local clubs affiliated with it. Yes, yes.
That's amazing. Do you answer to a main board, an national board?
No, the larger organization is there for support. They provide a lot of support to the local clubs in the way of advertising and so forth, just of the Optimist name.
Yeah.
But no, the local board runs. We decide how we use our money locally.
Gotcha. They just they trust, do your
Right.
thing. Because again, they can't, how can they monitor what Hernando needs?
Right.
That's why they're there.
Exactly.
You know, as I was going through your website, there was a page that was called, or a section called Optimist Creed. Mm-hmm. And I want to dig more into that, but let me give the audience a couple here. It says, promise yourself, to be strong, that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, and to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. And those are two of just several. So tell me a little more about, the Optimist Creed.
Well, the Optimist Creed is what we believe. It's what we try to practice as a club. And of course, we believe that we can achieve that mission statement by having that optimistic view when we interact with children. World we live in today, there are lots of things distracting kids from the right paths. So anything we can do to help keep them bringing out the best in them and keep them on the right path, and just being optimistic and showing that there is hope to a lot of children, that may be just what they need to put them down the right road.
It's easy to not see the kids that really need the help.
Exactly.
You don't know. They're at school, their grades might be good, they just look like a normal kid, but you don't know what's going on at home, none of this stuff. So that's great. And you cover, all the way up to 18,
Yes. Different programs have different age requirements, but we have programs that we support for early literacy programs such as Excel by 5 and the Imagination Library. We work with the city to help with those programs. And then we offer scholarships for graduating seniors. We cover the full spectrum.
Yeah, you show that on the website too, the Optimist International Scholarship Contests, and what you do for other scholarships. like a communication contest for the deaf and hard of hearing, essay contest. Let's extrapolate from that.
Those are the three very important programs that we do: the essay contest, the oratorical contest, and then, as you mentioned, the oratorical for the hard of hearing. And those are our key programs that Optimist International promotes. So we do choose to to participate in those locally. There are different topic each year that the students can write a speech or an essay depending on the competition, and then we assemble a local panel of judges to review the entries that we have, and then choose winners. And the great thing about Optimist International, and one of the things that being part of the larger organization allows, is if you are selected as a winner at a local level, there are prizes involved with it, scholarships, but then that qualifies you to go to district level, and then you can go from district to region and region to national. So a student winning an oratorical contest in Hernando may get a couple $100 for a scholarship, which is great, but that then could help them go then to district level. And if they win there, the money's more, and so forth. So there are great opportunities for the local students to go beyond just the local competition. And it's always fun when we have kids that get to progress to those other levels.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I wonder what do you know what the national scholarship looks like? Is it a good size, I would gather?
I think it's about 5,000, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure of that number, but it's a substantial amount.
That goes a long way. That does help. You get them started.
Right. And another great program that we do, which, again, it's about bringing out the best in kids. So, some have the ability to write or to speak publicly, and that's great, but then others have athletic abilities. So the junior golf championship, which Optimist International Junior Golf is one of the largest junior golf competitions in the world, and they have district level qualifiers. So we send kids, if we have golfers who are interested, we will help with expenses, provide the entry fee and help for the travel expenses to send those kids to the district level, which is Alabama, Mississippi. And then they have an opportunity to go then to Miami, to the Trump Doral, and play in the international. And I mention that because as we speak, if I've got my dates correct, a young man from Lewisburg is there for the second time in Miami representing Hernando. He went to the Alabama-Mississippi qualifier, and this is the second year in a row that he's made it to the national level. So international, really. Yeah. So, it's not about necessarily how he plays when he gets there. It's the experience. He gets to meet other young men and women from around the world who share that common love of golf, and just a great experience.
All those other kids,
right?
Just making friends and networks,
right.
Meeting kids from all walks of life. I'm sure. Because the people are coming from other parts of the world to that?
Right.
Wow. How many kids are we talking?
I believe it's about 600 golfers that in different age ranges. So I think it's about 600. They play in Miami over the course of about a week and a half. So he would be there playing during the time that his age group, of course, but he'd be there for practice round and so forth while the other kids are there. So it's just a great opportunity and to be exposed to something that otherwise might not have a chance.
Right. And so the Hernando Club is sponsoring that in essence, and all the other clubs sponsor their kids.
Right.
That's outstanding. So you said the district is Mississippi, Alabama. What's the region? How does that now grow to that next level?
The region is southeast, I guess would be a good way to classify it. And so it really expands outside of, it's shifted over the years. It used to be Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. Now it's just Alabama, Mississippi. It depends on the number of club counts in the states.
You just pushed the LSU Tigers to the side.
We pushed Louisiana to the side. We couldn't take any more of that. Yeah.
Well, my good buddy Robert Carter, if you're watching or listening.
Oh, don't. Robert's probably watching, and I don't need to hear anything from Robert about the Bengal Tigers. Congratulations on the championship, though, I will say that.
I love you, Robert. Are there any other, aside from the A Fair, are there any other events that we're missing? that you'd like to talk about?
Well, A-Fair, as I mentioned earlier, is our single fundraiser for the year.
Let's go to A-Fair. So, it's a big deal. Boy, do you guys fill up the square. It goes all the way down. It goes Commerce down to just past the City Hall. You got Panola. You got Memphis Street, and I mean, you pack it up.
We're running out of room. We've had to expand. In the 18 years that I've been affiliated with the Optimist Club, we've grown down all those streets. I think probably 18 years ago we were just on the square, and we've had the need to expand down those other streets, and that's wonderful. That means more vendors are wanting to come, and more vendors equates to more folks coming and enjoying the day and being exposed to Hernando.
What's the average number of booths that you get?
About 200 is what we have space for. Is about 200 booths.
That's a heck of a fundraiser. That really must help your year, right? That's the year for you. Right?
That's it. That's the year,
and that helps you sponsor things like the golf tournaments and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's businesses, but it's also arts and also. People might think that it's only Hernando businesses, no, it's anyone in the region, right? In this whole area.
We have vendors from Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas. Those are the states that we regularly have vendors coming from. We've got some regulars that come from South Alabama and Louisiana that come back every year because it's a great event, a great turnout, and they're going to sell some stuff that day. And so it really does expand outside of just the Mid-South area.
No one's coming from Texas just to have a booth. They know that it's going to bring some value to them. When we do the Sunset in the Square every Thursday, and that put into perspective, the amount of people in a big group. We hand out raffle tickets to everyone for free drawings, but it's also a way for us to kind of gauge how many people are there. And the first one, I would have been like, there's probably 500 people here. It was like 1,500 on that square and that lawn. But the amount of people that come to the A-Fair, I mean, it packs the streets all day. I don't know if there's any way to gauge, but there has to be like tens of thousands of people that come to A-Fair.
We use the number. We usually publish the number 10,000. I think because we know it's 5 digits. So let's just keep it at 10.
Yeah.
And we've explored different ways. How could we measure how many are there? Obviously, it's free admission, so there's no gates to come through. So we're not counting heads as people come in. We have explored different ways, raffle tickets and so forth to give out, but people are coming in from so many different directions, but we estimate 10,000. We have taken pictures. If you visit our website, you'll see pictures from past A-Fairs and some great shots from the rooftop of some of the buildings on the square, and it's shoulder to shoulder people. You can't see street from that vantage point.
The first one I visited, naively, I was like, well, it's probably a little busier than a Water Tower Fest, or a little busy. Maybe it's like a farmer's market. Man, it was like going to a concert. Shoulder to shoulder, for sure.
Team Couch of Birch Realty Group is a full-service team of realtors specializing in real estate sales. With over 900 transactions alone in the past 5 years, their experience is your best asset. Go to teamcouch.com or call 662-449-1700.
Gustafson Properties. Gustafson Properties has been building beautiful custom homes in DeSoto County and surrounding areas for over 20 years. Are you ready to build your new custom home? Call us today at 662-449-6271.
5M Services, your comfort specialists. We offer heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service. Call us for any of your HVAC needs. 662-560-7331. We are here for you 24/7. Now, you mentioned race. There's also a race. Let's talk about the race.
So we start off the day at 7:30 that morning with a 5K race, and that race has been going on for years, and it's very popular. It's now known as the Laura Wiley Memorial Race. She was a member who for years helped coordinate the race and passed away years ago, and so we've continued that race. Very popular with Mid-South runners who come. So that kicks off the day at 7:30. And we're always, of course, looking for businesses to sponsor the race.
Because the racers don't pay to be on it, or do they?
They do pay an entry fee. The entry fee helps. We helps with expenses associated with the race. So, of course, the sponsorships that come in are great. There's a race T-shirt. We used to have a couple of folks who every year when they would run in the race, they would wear past year T-shirts. I've seen T-shirts all the way back to the 70s. Some of those folks are not able to run anymore, so we don't have that. But getting a race T-shirt is a really big deal for a lot of folks that have been collecting them over the years.
Do you, in essence, for lack of a better term, sell real estate on your shirts? Yeah, same with the chamber. So, so yeah, let's talk about all the different ways businesses can sponsor and how they get involved.
Right. So we have multiple sponsorship opportunities. Of course, we look for a title sponsor for the event, and then different levels of sponsors. And of course, with that, you're going to get a booth, and you're going to get real estate on that shirt, and mentions, of course, in any advertising that we do around a fair, and then. If you can't do a sponsorship, obviously we'd love for you to pay for a booth. To have a spot on the square. The businesses on the square get the booth that's in front of their spot. Of course, we want to support them.
Oh, interesting. So if Social Saint has a booth, it's in front of them.
They have the booth space that's in front of their shop, so they can, if they want to extend their business out there for the day, they can, or they can just have that open for customers to get into their shop. Of course, we want the local businesses to thrive. On a day when we're pulling thousands of people into Hernando who aren't here shopping on a daily basis.
I mean, that's really respectful. You're giving everyone on the square, hey, this real estate in front of you, if you want it, this is yours. You get first dibs, right?
Right.
If they can pass, and then you sell that space,
they could say to us, "You're okay to sell it."
Gotcha.
If they didn't want it, but of course most do want to take advantage of that.
Because does the business pay for that spot or no?
No,
it's just theirs.
Yeah, it's theirs.
That's really cool. I like that. My buddy over at Sweet Loren's Guitar, hopefully he takes advantage of that.
Yeah, hopefully he does. Yeah. He tried to teach me how to play guitar, but
oh, did he?
Yeah, it didn't go so well, but we'll work on it again.
Yeah, that's him. He gives a lot of lessons in there.
He does.
He's a one-man, not to derail us here, but he's a one-man show in there too. So he's giving lessons all day, every day, and then trying to sell gear.
Right.
And shout out to Sweet Loren's Guitar.
Yeah.
So every May, right?
Every third Saturday in May.
That's it.
Don't even have to worry about knowing the date. It's every third Saturday in May. So
third Saturday.
Put it on your calendars now. Next year is the 50th.
Wow.
So
50 years in Hernando.
50 years of A Fair.
Wow.
Yes.
What was Hernando like 50 years ago?
I don't know. I wasn't alive 50 years ago, barely, but I wasn't. And I wasn't in Hernando. But far different, I'm sure.
Wow.
But yeah, the Optimist Club, the chamber originally ran A Fair. And I believe, if I got it right, in 1986, when the Optimist Club was formed, took over the A Fair as a fundraising event. So
good deal.
Yeah, next year will be a big one. Not sure how we're gonna what we're gonna do special for the 50th, but we definitely need to do something for that.
To cap sponsorships, what's the best way for any business owner or business that wants to sponsor? How do they get in touch with you?
The best way is you can go to our website, hernandooptimist.org. The best way also is to look for Hernando Optimist Club on Facebook and message us there. And you'll find a phone number on either the website or the Facebook page that you can call. But really, if you message us on Facebook, the sponsor committee chair will get in touch with you with a package, and we have different things going throughout the day. We mentioned the race, and that's at 7:30, 9 o'clock. The booth's open. And then usually between 9 and 10, we start music on the courthouse lawn, and we have music all day.
Like acoustic?
We actually have
stripped down or full bands?
have a sound system come in, and we have a variety, really a variety of types of music, everything from some oldies to country to inspirational. We have a lot of different groups come in and play, and good opportunity for folks, if you're going to grab a bite to eat and sit down under a shade tree, it's great to have some music playing. So sponsorship, you could specifically say, I want to sponsor the race. You could help sponsor music, or you can just be like a title sponsor or one of the top sponsor levels, which we're always looking for again.
What time does the music go till?
It goes until 4 o'clock. We go till about 4.
And that's the whole event as a whole? Mm-hmm. People start tearing their booths down?
Right. We find that the crowd comes in the morning. Obviously, that's when the best, everybody's fully loaded with inventory at that time. And it starts winding down, usually about 3 or 4 o'clock. So it's a good time to get it torn down. And we also want to, again, a couple of restaurants, on the square that we want to be respectful of them, and let's try to get the square open back up before dinner time.
I'm sure the city wants the square back open.
We try to get it open and accessible for those evening dinner reservations. So
I remember several years ago, the Water Tower Fest had the big stage as you're pulling out of the square, hitting 51. Mm-hmm. There was a big stage right there. The square would be closed for a weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we got away with that, but
yeah, that's you want to get it opened back up, and it gets to a point that people will start driving on it, even if it's not open back up, because it's not as apparent that there's an event going on.
Parting the seas.
Yeah, and that gets dangerous when you have vendors still trying to get packed up and people are driving. So we want to get it open back up as quick as we can, and get our mess cleaned up too. We want to leave it in as good a shape as we can. The city and the county are fantastic to work with to close down the streets, give us access to the courthouse lawn. So we want to be, as respectful and appreciative as we can, and leave it in good shape when we are done.
Yeah, that courthouse lawn is a big deal. Like the chamber gets Sunset on the Square. Speaking of organizations kind of taking over something, we've shifted our September music series to the Art Council. Mm-hmm. So that's all great, but the court's very gracious to let us use that lawn, and we always make sure it's cleaned up. We have as a board, we sign up for duties, and we have a cleanup duty. It's like just show up at 9 at the end of the night, come help us clean up.
Yeah.
What do you do for food? Do you have food trucks?
We have many food vendors. In fact, we have to turn food vendors away sometimes.
Well, they want that traffic.
It's a great day for them. We have some that have been coming for probably 20 plus years, and then we always have new ones coming. We have a variety of food also. We have the fair food. We have your corn dogs and your turkey legs and all the things that we love. Yeah. But
all the different icy drinks.
Right. And we have Mem Pops there, and then we also have some civic organizations. The Lions Club does barbecue and lemonade. We have some churches that set up and have food. So it's really a variety. Some great tamales that become one of my favorites that I hit. So a variety. I joke sometimes and tell people that I eat my way through a fair, and sometimes you feel that way because there's so many things that you want to have that day and try. But there's food. If you come to a fair in the morning, you don't have to leave during the day. You'll have everything. Chick-fil-A is there early in the morning with biscuits. That's the right after the race is over. Nothing like finishing a race and then getting yourself a chicken biscuit. Right. So from breakfast time until the end of the day, some of the food vendors, the trailers, they'll actually still be there selling even after we're cleaning up if they've got food still available.
They're allowed to hang for a little while.
They're up on 51. They're not blocking any roads, and so they'll kind of hang around and sell. I know
there's some rumblings about ordinances in Hernando loosening up food trucks. I don't know the details of it, but I hope they. I love a good food truck.
Me too.
I mean, I love a good street taco. You know, it's awesome. And I would gather now that's still part of fundraising because obviously they're paying for their space, right?
Right.
If a food vendor is listening, same kind of process to get in touch with you?
Same. If you go to our Facebook page and you send us a message and you tell us either if you want a booth, if you're a food vendor, you want a booth. If you're in arts and crafts or a business and you want a booth, that's a good way to contact us. We have many vendors that at the end of a fair, they're writing us checks for the next year. So we already
locking it in.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already have a lot of vendors. So if you're listening to this and you think May is a long way away, if you're interested and you want to sign up, it may be good to go ahead and the applications are available by request. We'll put those out later. But if anybody messages us, they could get an application and start the process. Absolutely.
Not to be a Debbie Downer and bring this down, but I am interested, you know, what was that like through COVID? You know, what did that do for the Optimist Club and the A-Fair?
We had no A-Fair in 2020. May of 2020, of course, was at the height of the shutdown.
Yeah.
So, you know, gathering 10,000 of your best friends was not considered to be a good move at that time. So we didn't have A-Fair in 2020. Of course, we missed it as a community, as an event, of course. But in addition to that, and more importantly, financially for the Optimist Club, it hit hard.
It trickles down, right?
We did have a lot of vendors who had paid and were willing to say, yeah, just keep it for the 2021 A-Fair. So that gave us some operating money to continue through. And you know, we try to be good stewards of the money we bring in also and have some for those kind of situations. So we were able to support a lot of our core programs. There were other things that we weren't able to do during that time. But, of course, a lot of the programs that we support weren't happening either during COVID. So we did continue to support the of course the Boy Scouts and those things. We want to keep those going. So we stretched the money as best we could. 2021 A-Fair was the biggest we've ever.
I'm sure.
The number of people there, the amount of money spent, people were
pent up. They just wanted to get out.
Ready to get out.
May 21, there was still plenty of mask mandates. I mean, the pandemic was still strong, but I think at that point people were like, yeah, I'll take the chance, whatever.
Yeah.
I got to go. I got to move on with my life. So yeah, I'm sure that popped pretty hard.
Right. And it was an outdoor activity also. Yeah. So even though there's a lot of people, at least you're outside. But yeah, we had just a tremendous attendance for that one. That was one of the more fun A-Fairs I've been able to be a part of, and it was really it was a celebration too. You know, all day I think everybody was celebrating the fact that we're back together. And saw people that maybe you hadn't seen in a long time because you're not going to the social events.
I mean, I would gather the amount of time that it's been around, the amount of years you've been a part of it, and I'm sure there's vendors, we'll call them the OGs, right, that have been coming every year. They become family, don't they?
Yes.
know?
Yes. There are people that that it's the one time a year you see them, but when they pull up in the morning at the registration booth at 5 o'clock in the morning to come set up, it's like an old friend just showed up at your house because you've been seeing them year after year, and it's fun walking around and talking with them and kind of finding out what they've been up to and
seeing the growth of their business.
Absolutely, yeah.
So obviously, yes, businesses get a booth. That's pretty more common, but someone that just is a crafter, let's say they make wicker baskets, whatever, and they're not really a business, but it's still there for them, isn't it?
Right.
For them to display their work.
That's really A-Fair. The intention is to be an arts and crafts fair.
Yeah.
That's really first priority for booth space is going to go to that person.
Gotcha.
The crafter they're. Of course, they're paying for a booth, but there are different levels of booth cost, and I would encourage you to go check that out on our website. But the crafters are really the key. That's what we want to offer to the community on that day is some things that maybe they don't get to buy in stores, and there are some there's some fun things that people come up with to sell, and some great products.
Yeah, like fabric-based stuff like quilts,
there are pillows and ribbons and cushions for outdoor furniture and fudge and candles,
soaps,
yeah,
all that stuff.
Yes, and leather products, birdhouses, a lot of metal, garden decor, you name it. It's there.
I remember as you were heading, you cross, if you're walking through the square heading down Commerce towards City Hall, there was a truck there. Was it a petting zoo?
We have down at City Hall, it's kind of a children's area. So the county animal shelter usually sets up down there, and they'll have animals that are up for adoption in their trailer there. And then we have a couple of other animal groups that will sometimes bring animals up that are up for adoption. And then we have some fun things for kids. Bounce house. We had the big water balls that you get in and roll. We've had some different things that
you got to have something for the kids.
Right.
Give the parents a break.
Right, exactly. You take your kids down there and you burn out the energy a little bit, and then you can do some walking. But when we first expanded down Commerce Street, no one really wanted to be down there. They felt like nobody's going to walk down Commerce Street. They're going to do the square and they're going to be done. And as we continue to grow down Commerce Street, we put the animals and the kids' activities at the end of the street, and now it's one of the busiest streets. It's hard to walk up and down.
Yep.
That stretch of commerce between the library down to City Hall. It really gets packed.
It's like walking into FedEx Forum for a Metallica concert.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
That's not hyperbole.
No, it is packed, and from time to time over the years, maybe we've had a side by side or a golf cart that we use, and if you have a kind of an emergency situation you need to get through, I can tell you I've tried to do it, and it's not easy. There's so many people. It's literally shoulder to shoulder for most of the day. And of course, we love to see that, and I think that everybody in the community loves to see it. That's you want to see people coming and see it in a little bit of Hernando that day, and lots of folks are exposed to Hernando that day that may not come for any other time of the year.
I'll tell you what, when I finally moved to Hernando in 2021, it was not long before I learned of this, A fair? A apostrophe fair? Hugely popular.
Right,
People love it. It's such an integral part of this the community and annual event. So thanks for being a part of it. Let's mention maybe some other directors or the executive director. Do you want any names you want to highlight and spotlight?
Kathy White, who I believe is who contacted you from the if you call the Optimist phone number, leave a message. Kathy will often be the one. Kathy's been a part of the club for many, many years. Pam Black also is one of our key members. My wife, Rachel Cook, I'm married into Hernando in the Optimist Club. Rachel's been a part of it for many years, and Melinda McCarty is our president, I believe, at the moment. She got that wonderful duty this year. So lots of great folks. I mentioned those. I apologize to those that I didn't mention, but it's a good group. Like I said before, we're small, but we're mighty. But I will tell you, as with any civic organization, we need more people.
Well, let's talk volunteers. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yes. So how can people volunteer, and what is it that you need volunteers for?
Well, there are different opportunities. Of course, we love to have new club members. We meet at Fratello's the third Monday of each month at 6:00. And so great opportunity to come. Feel free to just visit and learn more about the club and get to know us. And if you feel inclined to join as a full member, we're always looking for members. If you maybe don't have time to become a full member.
You talking about a board member?
No, just a member of the club.
So what does a club member mean? What does that
Just
entail?
be active in coming to meetings. You're probably going to be put on a committee. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But just being there, a voice as we're making decisions about how we want to proceed as a club and the different organizations we want to help with the money we raise. You'll be there as a club member to help us with that. We have different needs for club members. Of course, participating in the meetings is great, and having that voice, being on a committee chair is great. But then there are other things that we may be presenting a check to an organization, and the best time to do it is Tuesday at 11 a.m. Well, many of us work, and we can't be there, so we need people to be, in those photo ops, just to be there to
represent.
help with that. Absolutely,
We do it with the
Absolutely.
chamber. We're there to help the businesses and represent, and let's put on a ribbon cutting.
Right.
We just had one this morning as we record this. The new Compelled
The new
Church.
church. I saw that on Facebook before I came. Yeah. And then if the full membership doesn't work for you, then we have an option called Friend of the Optimist, which is means that you're helping slight financial support, but you can be there as a volunteer. And then we just need volunteers, especially on that third Saturday in May. And there are tasks from being there at 4:30 in the morning to help direct traffic and get people to their booth space, to end-of-day cleanup, as you were mentioning. We have a tent that we staff all day for anyone who's looking for information throughout the day, working that tent. If you love music and you want to be up on the courthouse lawn and helping shuffle bands in and out, we have many opportunities. The race, of course, so there's many opportunities on that day. A couple of weeks before, we have to paint numbers on the square for the booth spaces. So there's lots of opportunities. So if you just want to carve out some time, if you love A Fair, you just want to carve out the time to do it, to help with that, then feel free to reach out and just let us know. We'll start planning in January for A Fair, so we would reach out to that group as we knew what we needed them to help with.
I gotta say, Brad, they picked the right spokesperson, the right guy for that role. You're wonderful, man. You're coming with just all the right knowledge, and man, I just appreciate you taking the time to come today and give us all that. It's awesome.
Thank you. And a lot of people don't know that the Optimist Club it sponsors A Fair, and especially a lot of people don't know that it's the single fundraiser of the year and what all we do with the money that comes from that. So supporting that event is very important to the Optimist Club and to the community here in Hernando. So thank you for having us here today and me here today. And I'll tell you one quick story that I believe to be true. The reason for the A' Fair,
I'm dying to know,
to be listed first in the Mississippi Registry of Arts and Crafts Festivals, A' came before any other fair. So alphabetical listing, A Fair would be number one. That's the story I've heard, and I believe that to be true.
and that was decided 50 years ago.
I believe so.
That is SEO and algorithm. Nowadays, they were way ahead of their time.
Right. Would have paid a marketing agency millions to tell you this is how you need to do it. But someone back then figured out we can be top of the list. That's the story I've heard in my 18 years, so I believe it to be true.
Man, in the line of business I do, that's fascinating, really cool. So not one last time, but here's the website again. HernandoOptimist.org, and please repeat the monthly meeting you do at Fratello's.
We're at Fratello's the third Monday of each month at 6 p.m.
Awesome.
And we got to meet in that back room to the right as you go in. You just tell them you're there for Optimist, and they'll direct you that way. And
what if you're not a member yet? You can roll in.
We typically, our meetings, we try to have a speaker, and then we'll do the board business at the end of the meeting. Anyone's welcome to stay and listen to the board business, but if
It's like going to an alderman board meeting.
Right. At some point, if you want to slip out, then you can. But we try to have a speaker, and usually it's someone affiliated with one of the organizations that we help, and have them there to share some information about how the funds that we've helped them with have helped their organization.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for coming in here and spreading the information. I hope people are more interested now. I don't think A-Fair needs the Real Hernando podcast, but hey, any way I can help. This is what I do, and this is why you're here, and I'm glad you came up and did this with me.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone at the Optimist Club appreciates the opportunity to come and talk today.
Great. It won't be the last. Okay.
Great.
And then to the audience, thank you for watching and listening. We do appreciate it. It's super helpful and supportive for people to engage with this podcast, but I also have to thank our sponsors. Mr. Cook here understands the importance of sponsors. And because we can do this podcast in the studio and I can produce stuff for people like Brad and the Optimist Club because of these sponsors. So I want to spotlight them. Wesley Meadows Retirement Community, Gustafson Properties, 5M Services, Team Couch of Birch Realty, Wild Cultures Sourdough, the DeSoto Arts Council, Shelter Insurance, and Boba Cream. Thank each and every one of you for helping support this mission here. It goes a long way. It helps me as a business, small business, if you want to support a small business, but it's a conduit to the community and why I can sit across from Mr. Cook here in the Optimist Club. Thanks to you for that. And if you want to follow The Real Hernando, just go to therealhernando.com. Again, for those watching and listening, thank you for being here, and you have a great day.